October 6, 2014, I'm here with Alex. Alex is an Iraq War vet, and he was charged with a DWI, and that was after he came back. He had a number of issues that you were going through in life, and I had the honor and privilege of representing Alex. I always make sure to give a discount to military veterans, and I like to be up on issues with security clearance and other unique issues that veterans face, especially while they're still enrolled in the military or in the Guard. Alex, why don't you tell people about how you found me and then what it was like when I came on board?
Well, like you said, I had a pretty tough time after I got back, and having a DWI piled on top of that just made for a very stressful and tough time in my life. I found you. I read an article in the newspaper about how you had fought an issue all the way to the Minnesota Supreme Court over whether or not somebody could drive drunk to save their own life, basically, in an assault. I said that's the guy I wanted working on my case, and from that point on, I knew somebody was fighting for me and taking care of that stuff.
Initially, you represented yourself. You had what a lot of people think, hey, I've got a DWI, I can handle this on my own.
Right.
And you went in and talked with the prosecutor on your own about your case without a lawyer.
Absolutely. If if there had been no evidentiary discrepancies or any of that kind of stuff in it, then I would have just pled guilty immediately and taken care of it. But there were some issues, and I went and talked to the prosecutor to try to get those issues resolved. And he just
didn't go
dismissed me.
well.
It did not go well. And at that point, I knew I needed a lawyer.
And so we came on board, and one of the things I think is important is that we recognize things like what is at jeopardy if you pick up a criminal conviction.
Right.
Things like security clearance, things like promotions within the military, things like being able to be deployed or even hanging on to your position in the military.
Travel to allied countries.
And so with those issues, in addition to that, we understand the unique issues that soldiers face coming back after they've been deployed, and some of the hell that can cause in their life, because people can't deprogram overnight. They've
Right.
seen a lot of tough things. They've been through a lot of stress. They've been gone a long time, and we're sensitive to that. I think the courts are catching on to that to a certain degree. I also think the courts still have a long way to go, both judges, prosecutors, probation departments, and our justice system as a whole. So we've made some progress, but there's a long way to go. But one of the reasons I like handling military cases is because I have an opportunity to stand up and fight in my way and give back for the military members that give so much to us as a society, and I really appreciate that. And that is why I always give a discount in addition to military members. So we introduced some of that evidence to the prosecutor in an attempt to say, hey, I think this is a unique set of circumstances, and there should be some recognition for this, for what's at risk for him and what he's been through. And for a long time, up through the entire case until today, the
Right.
prosecutor didn't budge.
Right.
And so we had a talk about that, and there was an opportunity last court appearance, again, plead guilty to what you're charged to, and I remember telling you, don't. I think that we should hold out. We should try to get the judge on our side and explain what's going on, and I don't charge more to keep coming back, and I want to come back for you. You remember that?
Absolutely.
And you probably were conflicted to a certain degree. On the one hand, you've always been someone who wanted to take responsibility for what he did here.
Right.
When the officer pulled you over, she even remarked, hey, he didn't bust out a military card and say, hey, I'm military, let me out of this. She thought that was, she actually indicated later that she felt terrible when she learned you were military. But nonetheless, you had good character in not trying to leverage that. On the same token, I thought that these were genuine issues that contributed to your chemical abuse for that case, the alcohol abuse, and for that, I wanted the court to recognize that. And finally today, after working on it, we won the judge over on it, and then eventually he helped us win the prosecutor over on your case, right?
Yeah. It's been 16 months, and like you said, it was the the same terms of the plea deal from the first day that I went in, regardless of any evidence, before they'd even looked at the evidence until today. It had been the same deal, despite these numerous things that you brought up.
And so we had to stick in it for the long haul, but eventually it paid off. And now you're
Absolutely.
in a position where your clearance won't be affected,
Right,
where promotions shouldn't be affected,
right,
and where you can move forward and still have the help and the recognition. I think that the justice system owes our members for that. So it was a pleasure representing you. I thank you for believing in me. I look forward to helping more military veterans going forward. And if any veterans are wondering about whether a lawyer gets this, cares about it, or is genuinely in tune with helping out military vets, what do you have to say about that?
hire Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thanks for all your work, veterans.